Hey guys, Curse here with you today. Today I want to go over a little kind of a comparison versus video here of these two different little trays. So first over here, let me see, I wrote some notes here. I'm terrible at remembering names. I had to write these down. So let's see, this one here, this is the MIXC. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to pronounce that. Mixes, maybe. Over here we have the Gardzin. So that's Gardzzen. Kind of, again, I guess they're kind of really getting creative with their names here. All right, so first let's give a basic look. So right here on the very top, let me change this angle a little bit so you guys can kind of see what I'm seeing here. All right, so we have, this would technically be, well, not the bottom. I guess we have kind of three pieces here. So this is gonna be the middle part here, the actual tray, where you put the dirt and the seeds and everything else. So first off, at a glance, you can see the obvious. One is clear. This one is a kind of a, maybe it's a dark green, maybe a black. I'm partially colorblind, so I'm actually having a hard time telling what color that is. But this one here is definitely clear. Again, so the clear one is the MIXC, and again, this is the Gardzin. All right, so first glance, they look pretty similar here. Not a significant difference other than, again, being clear. I'm trying to look at it here, see if I can see anything really to point out. I mean, I guess if you wanted to really nitpick here, and not nice nitpick may not be the right word, but if you just weren't overly examine it, you kind of see here we got the specific texture of this one. Got a few lines going through here. Right here we got kind of like a little circle going on. Again, this isn't really going to affect anything, I don't think. This here slightly different. Got a couple little extra lines. Again, no circle. Again, I'm just pointing out something here. But for the most part, that looks like that's going to be the same. All right, so that's going to be the middle piece again. I'll put all this stuff together here by the end so you can kind of see what I mean by middle piece if you're not super familiar with these. All right, so middle pieces. Let's put this down here out of the way. All right, so next piece we have here. This is going to be the bottom tray. So basically kind of the idea of it is you would put, let me show you here. So the middle piece has these little holes right here. And this is just a solid tray. So basically you put some water in here, some dirt in here, and obviously your seeds and whatnot. But these little holes on the bottom of this is going to allow this water that you put in the bottom tray, this to kind of slowly seep into this part. So that way you're not just flooding out your seeds, but you're getting at least a little bit of kind of moisture in there. Kind of slowly watering it, I guess would be one way to look at it. All right, so let's pull one of these out. So as far as the basic idea, got a little design in here. Again, I don't really think that's going to affect much of anything on this part. Over here we have a slightly different design. As far as the actual weight of the plastic, let's see here, pull both these out. The one over here on this side is a little bit shinier. Let's see, put it up to the light here. Actually, there is a difference. So I got the sun right above me, if you guys can't tell, I'm outside. But when I put this one up to the light, I can't actually see through this. Let me change this camera angle. I don't know if this will be able to help you guys out or not, but hopefully this doesn't blind you too much. But you see when I put this up to the sun, gotta come from this way. Let me see. I don't know if the camera can pick that up or not, but this one you kind of see through it here. Over here, that's pretty solid. You're not really gonna be able to see through it. And again, long term, guys, I really don't think that's gonna make it much of a difference. But I mean, if you are looking for a comparison, I'm trying my best to give it to you here. All right, so this one's a little bit thinner plastic. This one's a little bit thicker. All right, so let's move on to the next piece. Now, this next one is gonna be for the most part, the most significant difference that I've seen between the two. All right, so we have, this is going to be the lid. So basically, again, you have that bottom tray where you put the liquid or the water. The middle tray is where you're putting your dirt and the seeds. This is the lid that's going on here. So this here has these little lids or little tops, and I'll show you what that does here in a second. Over here, this is about the same thickness again. Kind of see just for kind of some color variation. This one's green, this one's clear. We have a little poker here. pretty similar on both sides. I mean, this was a hair longer, but for the most part, pretty the same thing. Maybe this tip's a little bit sharper or pointier, so that may make a difference. Oh, hold on. I think I see it. Okay, I think I see something different here. Okay, no, that's just my... Oh, no, there's little numbers on here. All right. So here's something that I am not familiar with. All right, yeah, so these actually have little measurements on here. Again, planting, gardening, that's not my trade. So I am anything but an expert on this stuff. I just know literally the bare minimum to kind of try to get things done. But there are little measurements on this. Again, I do not know what the purpose of that would be, but consider it's on there. I mean, that obviously it serves a purpose. Both brands did put that on there, so it definitely does something. But they are numbered. So this one here is a little bit easier for me to see, and I seriously doubt the camera is going to pick up either one. I cannot read this one. Like, even with my reading glasses on, I cannot see what these numbers are. Over here, I'm kind of struggling, but I can kind of make these out. But they're pretty much the same. Again, slight little differences. Over here, we have, let's see, this. I'm assuming this is going to be, it's kind of fork it in there, kind of stirs things around, be my guess. They look literally identical. I mean, other than the color, I think these are probably made by the same manufacturer, be my guess. I mean, oh no, I do see a difference. I mean, it's not anything significant, but right here, there's like a little thing from where these were like stamped out in the factory, I'm guessing. There's like a little ring right there in the middle. Over here, it's down here on the bottom a little bit. So, I mean, these are not from the same machine, not the same factory, I'm assuming there. But, I mean, other than that slight little variation, they look and feel the same. The thickness, I mean, I'm not able to really bend these too much differently from one another. They feel pretty much identical. Now over here, let's see. This one here came with little stickers. I'm not, yeah, you kind of see here they peel off. And I don't, yeah, that's not really a sticker. I mean, I think it's almost like a, kind of like a static, kind of like the things on sunglasses. Yeah, I think pretty much sunglasses. They have that little thing on the corner there. You can kind of peel off. It's almost like, it's not a sticker, but it's like static holding it on. That's kind of what this feels like. So I'm not really sure if you could write on that or not. I'm not really sure what the purpose of that would be. I mean, it's cool looking, but over here, on the other hand, that's pretty straightforward. Got a little sharp point. You write on here what the plant is or what seed you're putting in. You can take this little stick and jam it into your dirt so that we can label everything very clearly. Again, this one, I'm not really sure. Actually, we already had one fall off here. So this kind of fell off while I was, well, maybe that is a little bit of a sticker. Yeah, it's a little bit sticky, but it's not super sticky. Yeah, I honestly don't know, guys. I don't know what, uh-oh, kind of losing my screen a little bit here. All right, so this one here, again, I'm not really sure. This one is pretty obvious, so I'm giving this one the heads up, or the who won that round. I guess we look at it that way. All right, let's get a couple of these out as well so we can kind of put this part together. Put that over here. So as far as the differences, so this one here, again, that's having that. That's, to me, is definitely a plus. Now, the lids. This one over here, this only has one little hole here, one vent, should I say. Over here, we have two vents. So to me, that's going to be the biggest difference that I can really see between the two. Again, this has that extra little label there. But as far as what these are doing or how they're going on, so right here on the lid, you have these holes. Kind of see here, it's like a little stamp, or not really a stamp, like a little piece sticking out here. You line this up. Now, this is very thin plastic, so you do got to kind of brace this in order to snap it on. But once it's on there, you can spin this around to kind of block the holes, open the holes up, or adjust it kind of partially here. On this one, looks like this is going to be the same. Again, slightly different piece, but yeah, it looks like the same basic little design for the most part there. Lines up, a little bit of pressure. That was snapped on there real good. And once it's on there, again, you slightly adjust it so that you can kind of open or close those little vents. So kind of pros and cons of both then. Oh, actually, let me put these together real quick so you can kind of see the finished product here. So you have your bottom tray. And then you have your middle tray here. Again, this is where you're putting the important stuff, your seeds and dirt and so on. This is going to go right on top. Move this out of the way. Actually, let's see if this kind of snaps on or not, or if it just sits there. So this looks like it just sits there. In all honesty, I think I would prefer it just sit there, because if that's kind of snapped on there, anytime you try to take this off, you're probably going to jar all this dirt. Your dirt and seeds are going to kind of go flying. So I think that's a good thing that that does not actually snap into place. All right, over here we have the bottom tray. Again, that is where you're putting your water or liquid. And you have your middle tray. Again, this is, you know, matter of fact, this whole thing's thinner. Now I'm sitting touching it. This tray itself is a little bit more flimsy than this one. The bottom tray is more flimsy than this one. And let's see about this top one. Let's see what I think about that. Well, kind of struggling here, about to knock everything out on the ground. All right, let's see. Let's see, that feels pretty, yeah, even the lid. So there's another difference. All right, so I think I've kind of established my winner here. So let me put this together real quick and I go over that real quick. But lid on this one, it just kind of sits there. Same thing, it doesn't really snap on or anything, again, which I think is preferable. All right, so pros and cons of each and my thoughts here after kind of messing with both. Over here, again, let me look at my notes here, see what brand this was. So this is the MIXC, so MIXC maybe. And this is the Guard Zen. So pros and cons. The pro of this one over here are those little labels. I should have that out here earlier. So these are the like little plant or seed labels here. So that way, again, you kind of label your stuff. And again, you can buy this, right? I mean, you can buy this separate, but this is considered a kit. So it would be nice if it had kind of a really an actual kit that includes most everything you need here. But this is the pro of this. It comes with these. Again, you stick this in your tray here in your little holes with the dirt. You can label it so you know what you're getting. Over here, it had that kind of weird sticker slash sunglass static clean type contraption here, which I didn't really know what to do with. In all honesty, my guess would be is they're just literally putting their name brand on something so that we can snap their name brand on here to show off. I don't know. So that's a plus on this one. Everything else, I'm going for this brand. This is the one that I would pick. This is the one that had the, I think it's Guard Zen with the Z, Guard Zen. If I had to pick one, this one I'd go for. It's just a better, this seems more sturdy, to tell you the truth, on every single aspect. So on the lid itself, it's thicker, it's more durable. You did have two of these to kind of adjust your airflow, your moisture, because you can partially close this one, but you can also partially close this one. It'd be nice, it's nice that they have two spots on here, so that way you can open this one all the way up, close this one. You can really kind of mix and match it a little bit better. But the main thing is just the durability of it. This lid is thicker. Again, you have the extra functioning part. The middle tray is thicker and the bottom tray is thicker. Again, it's not that I wouldn't purchase this one. I'm sure it will work perfectly fine. But in all honesty, if I had to pick only one, I would definitely go for the Guard Zen, just because it's a little bit more durable, a little bit thicker. But again, I think both are great. Both are going to get the job done. Again, I'm just being a little bit overly picky for you guys, just so you can kind of see the difference, kind of hear my thoughts on them. Because unless you actually purchase this stuff and you have it in your hand to kind of go over, you're not going to know. But there you go, guys. There's my thoughts. Again, I think both will work perfectly fine, so I would not hesitate in the slightest to get either one. But again, if you were really, really trying to kind of nitpick, you know, I definitely would pick the Guard Zen on this one. So there you go, guys. I hope somebody out there got something from this video, and thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.